right, welcome to Disrupt Education. I got Cody, I got Chuck, I got Anthony, all from a Greater Good Foundation. Thanks for being here, gentlemen.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having us.
All right, let's jump in. Tell us a little bit about your foundation.
Mr. CEO, you told me I'm in charge, so I'm going to take it. Okay. So what we do, we run a youth mentor organization, nonprofit 501c3, and we're operating mainly on the west side of Chicago, pushing Proviso Township. So what we do, we have an organization that really challenged the way we think. We change the expectations kids have for their life, and we really pull it out of them.
Nice, nice. And how long have you all been doing this?
A year and 10 months.
Wow.
Yes, a year officially as a foundation. It started in college. It started in college.
That's fantastic. Tell us a little bit about like your guys' educational background, like high school, post high school. What does it look like? I know we're Valpo grads, so. Sorry.
What's good over here?
Right. So definitely my background coming from two-parent household. My dad saw that education as a very big priority. So private school, from grade school, high school, I did not attend to go to a private college, but so fortunate that Valparaiso University was it. So definitely
What high school?
Walter Lutheran High School.
Oh yeah.
Sorry about that. Yeah. Throw that out.
Walter Lutheran.
Yeah, Walter Lutheran. So we value education, not only education but service. Service was a big key.
Right, service is big.
I actually went to high school in Gary, Indiana.
Yeah.
I went to Calumet High School, and my last 2 years I I participated in Entrepreneurship Academy, so the Career Center, and it was at a neighboring school. So I kind of been around the business thing a little while, and then I went to my first 2 years actually at Purdue in West Lafayette. For athletic reasons, I ended up transferring to Valparaiso going into my junior year. So I spent 2 years at Purdue, ended up finishing up and getting my degree at Valparaiso University.
Nice.
Said off.
One of us ain't like the other.
There we go already. Then I went to Walter Lutheran High School along with Cody. Graduated in 2011. I come from a family full of entrepreneurs. My father, mother, aunts, uncles, everyone. And so I kind of knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur. Really didn't even want to go to school. Long story short, I took a college visit. And I was like, yeah, you know what, Ma, I could try this college thing out. Tried it out. It actually went well. I noticed that my mom always lied to me, and I became the first person in my family to graduate from college.
Oh, yeah.
So I graduated in 3.5 years and started a foundation with these guys.
None of us said our majors.
Oh yeah. College?
Oh yeah, I went to Hampton University, a small HBCU out in Virginia.
What was your major?
Yeah,
Aviation. I actually majored in aviation.
Well, I'm an airplane buff. We got to tell you.
Definitely. I love drones too.
I created my own degree. It was basically a mix between business, finance, accounting, kinesiology, and psychology.
There's still Schroeder Hall over there?
No.
Might be.
I don't remember. Yeah.
I went from 95. Probably not. They tore it down. How about yours, Cody?
Criminology, so criminal justice, time, sociology.
Yeah, I was a communications major, broadcast journalism.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this makes sense.
Yes. Why? We had to talk about Dr. Powell if he's still around. Was he there?
Yes.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. All right, we'll go back there. All right, so then you built this. What is the driving force behind building this? What was it that when you got out of college, or your next step, right? You got some entrepreneur spirit in you. You kind of created your own major. You're communicating things. How did you all get together and say we're going to do this?
I think the best way to start, and to preface this, is to really start from college. The college would be the best part. So and this is how we met Daniel, Derek, all these guys,
Kelvin,
Lloyd, Shane, all these guys, PJ. We got started in network marketing while we were in college. And we want the money, but we want the money because we were poor college students. And we wanted something different for our lives. And obviously, that's what everybody wants.
Right.
But we had the opportunity while we were in college to have a kid fly in from California and stay on our couch. And on a residual income basis, he was making anywhere from $500 to $1,000 a week, and he was 19 years old. So we're like, okay, hold on, wait a minute, what's going on? And the business model that we loved and we looked after and we focused on, we didn't understand that part of that was personal development. So when the business left, we grew hungry and love for personal development and growth. I'll let you. I don't want to tell the whole story, man. So.
I'm kind of got sidetracked from what the question was. Oh, what inspired this?
Yeah, how'd you get together and just make this happen?
From college.
So throughout that experience, we, as Cody said, we fell in love with personal development, and what was so unique about the teams that we created is we had close to 100 kids from all over the country, 12 states, 3 different countries, all from different socioeconomic backgrounds, rural Indiana, inner city of Chicago, Africa. So one of the things that we saw throughout that movement was a lot of people want the same things. No matter what country they come from, no matter what background, no matter what their upbringing was, like a lot of people want the same thing. And then another thing that we saw that was super exciting was people, when given the right engine, so the right tool, opportunity and the support system, people will get vulnerable and get out of their comfort zone. We saw people reading who normally wouldn't read, studying who normally wouldn't study, staying away from parties, figuring out who they should spend their time with, really self-assessing at a very young age, who would never be doing this at 18, 19 years old, and even younger with the OPRF guys who had a team here. So that was super exciting, and that translated into us
starting the foundation. Really, we afterwards, we kind of went into our own separate careers. Graduated college. Chuck was in Ohio doing sales or whatnot. I was here running a catering business with my father. And Cody was still in college. It was great. And Cody was still in college. We realized that having hindsight, we look back and we noticed, wow, we actually changed some of these kids' lives because they were starting apps, their own businesses. They were going to the business incubator centers or whatnot. And
we were big bros. We had turned into big bros.
Exactly, became big bros. And we look back at that, and not only that, Chicago happened. We noticed everything that happened in Chicago. There were over like 500 killings. But what most people don't know was that over half of those killings were kids our age, in between the ages of 16 and 24. And so we realized that we had the formula to change. So when we did that, we kind of just all came together and said, you know what, let's do this thing. It was literally like a snap.
We watched that Eric Thomas video. Have you ever seen Nothing Funny? You ever seen the video Nothing Funny? By Eric Thomas?
When he's on.
And it was just like lightning. And we knew we could be a part of the solution.
That's fantastic.
And Cody wasn't done yet. Anthony was already building a couple of businesses. One of the other former co-founders was building a business with them. And that was our vision. We said in college that we would bring this information back to our communities after we made our millions. We made our millions mentally. And we got, so it was that experience in network marketing where we knew it wasn't a problem of intellect with kids, it was a problem of interest.
I was just about to say that. The formula he was mentioning was definitely interest versus intellect, and not only that, but engaging the kids to their interest. We were only engaged into personal development because I had the business
attached to it.
And what I looked at your board of advisors. You're all over the world. You got some people like so. That's crazy. So in a year, in 10 months, what have you learned with the foundation? Like what?
Business-wise or like life?
Yes. But like one thing like that would be the main thing that sticks out in your mind. Because that's a long time. It's almost 2 years.
There's a difference. For me, the first thing that comes to my mind is there's a difference between running a nonprofit program and a nonprofit company. And we have to explain that to people because we're working the business, we're building the business, you're raising funds for the business. And, as you know, when you start a business, you're starting off really not trying to pay yourself. And so that'll probably be my biggest.
I would say, man, do you have something off the top of your head? Go ahead, because I want to think.
I'd say patience and sacrifice.
You just gonna take both of them?
Because they come together. They come together. Early on, being so young you have so much opportunity. We could literally be doing anything we wanted. We could go make 6 figures right now if we really wanted to. We could start a business that was more for profit, for money. But one of the big things was to sacrifice and on the impact that we wanted to create. And then I say patience was because you want things to happen so fast. You know, everybody wants things to happen so fast, and you begin to make decisions based off wanting them to happen in the next year, in the next 3 years, rather than employing patience and making long-term decisions. It literally, the two go hand in hand.
Right.
So that's what I'd say. Sorry if I took it.
That was amazing. I'm so upset I didn't think of that. I'm so upset.
I was thinking more business type.
That is business.
That is business.
Yeah, that is business.
I
I like the intangible. aspect. So I was so tangible in that thinking part. I was like, oh, okay, I see.
Well, check. Is there a particular like kid that you saw grow in your program that just really struck you?
Yes. I still want to answer that question, that first question though.
Yeah, please do.
And you hinted toward it. I think that was something that we learned the hard way, and we've accomplished a lot in 2 years, but we could have accomplished more if we would have known this sooner. You could get drunk on opportunity. Starting a business. When you begin providing a service or producing a product that everyone is looking for, free of charge initially, people want you from every way, shape, and form, and it will consume your time. And as Cody said, there's a difference between building a company and running a program. If you want to live, eat, and create a legacy of impact, part of your decision-making model and exercising patience is being able to say no. Even though you want to help, even though you can help, even though like in your heart it hurts to say no, but you won't move forward if you're consistently moving lateral. So I think that was something we learned.
That's so true. That is so true. That's hard. It's hard to say.
It's super hard. It's super hard.
Because you're on a mission. Like you're changing lives. And what ifs start in your head.
The passion can blind you.
Oh yeah.
Well, what kind of? Well, let's. I now open up to everybody, but I'll give you first shot.
Yes, sir.
But students, like, so is there a story of a young man who like came through and just hit it?
Change it. So I won't use his name, but there's a guy in our program who was super quiet, and he's a big guy. He has a big presence. He's probably like 6'3", 260 pounds, so he's like a big guy, and he was super reserved. He would whisper when he talked to you. He wasn't very confident, and Cody coined this phrase, everyone wants to feel important. Everyone wants to feel important. So just through open dialogue and making sure every person's voice is heard and making sure everyone respects everyone who's speaking, this guy now leads conversations. He's now not afraid to stand up and voice his opinion in front of people who have, in high school terms, more influence or more clout than he does. And that's so inspiring because he's the type of kid who could cure cancer or, create the next iPhone if he believed he could. And we believe that now he has a hint of that courage that it takes to take that next step. So we loved seeing him progress and move forward just by way of being a part of something bigger than himself. You just gave him permission to do it. He always had it.
That is so true, though. Permission to do it and like setting them up. You're gonna see him grow from here. That's where this pays itself back, right? So
that was a good one. Y'all gotta follow that.
Anthony's looking real anxious. I'll let you go. I got you. I'm thinking, so you go ahead. I got a couple in my head. Okay. One in particular, and with us working with West 40, the evening school, we're working with kids that's been kicked out of high school for either behavior reasons or truancy or anything of that fact. So one of the kids we had last year, and we ended up getting him back into the high school. So right away, that's a big goal, that's a big start, and that's what you want to do, get him back into the high school. And he's doing great, he's doing amazing. But the one aspect I think about is the ability to take responsibility. He got in a program. the focus is more so not on himself, but on the things around him that wasn't going his way. And I really think the transition, and this guy, like you said, he's not a fighter, you know, but he does end the fights.
Yeah.
I don't pick him, and he started getting in control of his attitude better, a lot more serene. And he's back in the school. He's doing a lot better, and he's actually one of the guys we see going really, really far in this, and actually going to college. So
Nice.
I would say that'd probably be the story that hits at me.
Oh, wow. Yeah. It's a great line. You got to get all these quotes on shirts.
Working on it.
All right. What about you, Anthony?
Oh man,
P Money.
I had to say, this kid has to be. He reminds me so much of myself when I was his age.
I do too.
But the expectations that my family set for me were higher than what the expectations that he's getting at home.
Yeah.
So what he wants to do is he wants to be an entrepreneur so bad, but he hasn't finished high school. He's still in the senior plus, which is when you're trying to finish getting your diploma while you're over the age or have already graduated. So he also works in the kitchen with me. I still run my catering business, focused in that, but he works with me every day. I say, man, you going to school? No, man, I'm trying to save my money and get this business going. I said, what do you want to start? Well, I'm trying to wait until I turn 21. Then I'm gonna buy me a building. I'm gonna go into real estate and do all these fun things. And it's so good because he has it thought out. He believes in himself, which I was the exact same way.
He's studying on his own.
Studying on his own,
So much education.
but everything. And the only thing is, he's just like, I don't really need school. You know, and I'm just like, well, at least get your high school diploma. But the kid is amazing because I literally told him this 2 weeks ago. I told him, hey man, well, read the book Think and Grow Rich. I already read it. No, you didn't. I said read it because we gave it to him before. I'm like, no, I want you to really read it and follow through everything that you're reading. He's like, okay, I got you. And usually when he makes a commitment and tells me he got it, he has me. Because we built that relationship through time.
Nice.
So. Yeah, that story is still on the go.
And what a great
You hit it
book.
on the head.
That's an amazing book.
That book is throughout, but I hear that a lot, like even as a high school teacher, in the system, if you want to call it that. So that kind of leads me to my final question is, so you see a lot of students that don't do well in this system. And as a matter of fact, like myself personally, the only reason I did well in my own high school is because my father was a teacher there. I couldn't get away with anything, right? But I kept a mediocre average. I didn't really try hard. Even in college, man, I didn't really have the best grades and such. What do you hear over and over, though, what would you change by listening to your clients, your students coming in to a high school to make it a better place for people, right?
Yeah.
So I know that's a big loaded question, but that's what Disrupt Education is all about, and I'm trying to figure out how do we change this system. So any thoughts on that?
I got a thought.
Me too.
Go ahead, sir.
No, you.
After you.
We got some fight over it. I can go with
I think one of the biggest parts, and likewise for me, I wasn't too focused on academics, and it was more so my learning style. But what I love best is being able to apply it.
Right.
So being able to have something I could apply it to after school really would help me excel and go to the next level. Same thing as college. So me being a sociology major and criminology to be exact, most of the times you're talking about criminology, criminal justice that happens within society, we were actually talking about my home area, my town, and being less than 5% black at Valpo, and being the only black person in class. You raise your hand, you're asking for, you're answering for the rest of society. So just by opening the book and reading it, it was different because I was able to apply it not just by inside the classroom, but when I left that classroom, it was everyday life. So just being able to provide resources and platforms that kids can apply with their learning is crucial. For example, within our circuit, We'll go over 1 week code switching, the ability to adapt, the ability to switch and maneuver throughout society, because you have to. You talk to your mom differently than you talk to your teacher, then you talk to your boys. So for us, the next week, which we actually did today, we took a group of kids to Fogo de Chao.
Oh yeah.
Allowed them to experience fine dining, definitely a code switch. You have to adapt.
Stuff themselves.
Right. We're still stuff right.
Yeah.
If anything, the ability to apply it, really,
Relevance.
make it relevant.
Right. Wow.
That makes sense. I like that.
Thank you.
Authenticity. That's really.
And that's, I think one of the, and I used to say this in high school, and that was when I started to read personal development books. And one of my biggest pet peeves with education was that it was logic based and not emotional based. I don't.
So you gonna walk them like that, right? I should have went before you. Hard to follow this up. Right? You gonna say that? Okay.
But you're right. Yeah.
There's a misconception that we're logical beings. Although we like to believe that we're conscious people, we react more than we respond. And I think that being able to first being aware of your emotions, and then understanding your emotions, and then learning how to cope with them and use them in Think and Grow Rich, transmutation. That is the transference of energy. It's the same way with our emotions. I have a hard time wrapping my mind around building a educational system where there's no emotional mechanism in place for the progress of the students. Understanding that preteens going to adolescence, preteens going into young adulthood, that's a very emotional time in a lot of our lives, and we go through a lot of things, but nowhere in between do we teach someone how to meditate, how to breathe deeply into their nose, into their belly, how to think. It's as outrageous. So I would definitely say like mindfulness would be something I would include in all education.
Solid.
Yeah.
SEL. I mean, it's where it's at.
Yes.
I hear that.
Yeah, definitely.
So now he's left that.
Yeah, right. But no, I actually have two again. One is conscious-based education and experience/exposure. I believe the education should be conscious. They should understand who they are first, understand more about themselves, because when we got involved in personal development, we learned a lot about ourselves, but the more we learned about ourselves, the more we learned about you. The more we were able to learn about
We're not very different.
I say it all the time. The only thing that makes us different is the neighborhood we grew up in, our experiences, and how our family raised us. Really the only thing. So I would say is teaching education by using a conscious-based curriculum. And then next is exposure and experiences. I believe it's on help me out, Chuck, the pyramid of learning. The best way to learn is actually through experience, exposure, actually doing the thing. So if kids could engage in certain things through their interests, so let's say a kid wants to be a poet, or a engineer, if they can get exposed.
A poet?
But you never know. I'm just thinking. But anyways, an engineer, if they can get exposed to the engineering environment, if they want to be an air traffic controller, if they can go to the tower and just see what it feels like to be an air traffic controller, then they can start looking deeper within themselves, like, oh, is this something I really want to do? They can at least experience. I don't think it needs to be, like he said, logical and math, sciences, Englishes. I think it needs to be more about them, who they are, and what their interests are, because I feel like interest is also tied with passion. When you find out things that you're interested in, you also find the passion behind those things. So
I mean, that's disrupting education right there. I mean, that's what it is. I mean, just looking at the holistic view of humans rather than the logic.
Yes.
Right?
Can I add something?
Yeah.
I just thought about something when you were talking.
that's cool. I did that to help you.
Oh, okay.
So you guys meshed up.
So
How many foundations are you?
So one of part of our curriculum is we created a curriculum that we call the universal curriculum. We were like, how can we create something that will work for kids in every community, no matter what their academic standing is, no matter what they want to pursue in life? Well, one thing that our mentor taught us how to intentionally enhance our.
I was to say his name.
Bob Proctor is our mentor. He taught us about our mental faculties, and all of us have them. We have 6 beautiful mental faculties: our imagination, our memory, our reason, our perception. What am I missing? Intuition. I'm missing one more.
Memory.
I said memory.
You didn't remember.
Intuition, imagination,
Perception.
perception, reason.
I don't remember the last.
We keep repeating the same thing. So we start with the eyes: intuition, imagination.
Bob's gonna kill
memory.
You right?
Memory, intuition, imagination, memory,
Yeah.
perception, reason,
Will.
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 And they're like muscles. As you exercise them, they get stronger. They're not something that you're born with. It's not, genetic determination. It's something that memory. People say, if I asked you, do you have a bad memory? You'll probably say, yeah, right? And that's just something that we heard over the years. It's not necessarily true. If you exercise your memory, it'll get stronger. If you exercise your imagination, it'll get stronger. Will is the ability to focus. Traveling the world expands your perception. These are all things that we can exercise. And when you apply these faculties to each individual endeavor that a child wants to create for themselves, it becomes that much more feasible, that much more real, and it's inside of you.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what community you come from. It doesn't matter who your teacher is. Just create the picture in your mind, son.
No, but that's laid out, man. So what is next? What's coming?
We're all over the place with that question.
Answer yours,
Right.
and we'll answer the second piece.
Okay.
Perfect minutes. All right.
Perfect.
You do for-profit,
Okay.
like real estate.
I got you. You about to do?
Jump in.
AGU, yeah.
Okay. And I do the GAP.
Yep.
Do the gap. Okay. So reason we have to do that, we're a little bit all over the place. Very, very focused, vision, straight line, but we're separate so we can build faster right now within our separate teams. So what's next right now is the gap. The Global Awareness Project. So it's being able to build the awareness in the communities, whether we're talking about young or old. But the reason for that is because, like Anthony said, we really have a lack of awareness of self. We're in a very, very left brain dominant culture that's very, very logic. We choose to ignore right side emotion,
Yeah.
and it's so much that could come from that. So with that being said, we're going to do a lot of youth seminars, a lot of community seminars, but being able to understand our programming. We all know that your thoughts turn into your behavior, into your actions, into your habits, into your results. But a lot of us really can't understand where our thoughts come from.
Yeah.
Come from our programming. Until we understand where our programming, how it was developed, how do you change it, that would have an effect on your results. I mean, it's over and over and over again. In any area you look at, it happens over and over again. But we're not taught that in school.
Yeah, right. Not at all.
I'm gonna let you go out there, huh?
That's crazy. So, man, I wasn't expecting to go but so now we're also in the process of creating a for-profit side, but not only just in terms of for ourselves to bring money in, but also to give kids a gainful skills experience through different expertise. So what we're starting is a property management company that will allow students to learn with professionals on how to manage a real estate property. Just to give you guys some background, a lot of things that we run into with our kids is money based, because their family's not making a lot of money. They probably come from impoverished homes, and a lot of times they have to work. They have to help moms out with some type of bills, and where we found out where they're working is like a Wendy's or a McDonald's. There's no gainful skills. They can't take anything that they're learning in a Wendy's or a McDonald's and take it into the real world. So we know, how could we give them real world experience, but also give them great gainful skills. And so we came up with property management and also investing in real estate to teach them not only the how to take care of a building or whatnot, but also the numbers behind it, How do people make money behind this? How does this apply to their communities? Why don't they have certain things in their communities?
Oh my gosh.
But that's the whole tie-in part of that.
Yeah,
I noticed we only got like 2 minutes, so
I got to add on real quick, really
got 2
quick.
minutes, Cody.
What's so important about that is the mentality of ownership.
Got it.
And that's what we really
Yes.
want to get the kids, the ownership
Yes.
mentality.
Exactly,
Love it.
because a lot of times in our neighborhoods, their parents are either rented a home, they're always renting, so they don't know the thoughts that other people who are owning these homes have. They don't know how to make money by this. So
Yeah. Oh, love
I'll
it.
let you go ahead.
Sum it up, President.
Bring it on back in, Mr. President.
Yeah.
So we made a decision almost 6 months ago, 6 to 7 months ago, that we were going to start a boarding school that would serve underperforming and high-risk students across the Chicagoland area. One, we know the output of boarding schools across the country in terms of academic excellence and even extracurricular excellence, but we believe you have to create a subculture conducive for them to do that. And we believe that you can do that within the communities that we work in. You just have to put the pieces and resources together to do so. Before we do that, we're creating a pilot, which is what we're calling a greater you. And we will be building a home that will house 10 to 12 young men from a high-risk community. And they will remain in their home school, but we will implement during the weekday boarding hours, everything that we talked about, personal development, financial literacy, food and nutrition, things that help someone grow holistically. And every weekend they'll have opportunities to go home if they want to, and on the holidays. And we'll operate that for 4 years with the group to pilot our concept for what this boarding school can and may look like. And we're getting that going in August 2019. So I mean 18. I'm sorry.
I really want to thank you all for being here. What you are doing is spectacular. It is literally disrupting education.
Thank you.
We'll put your information out for donations. Thank you so much, guys. Keep disrupting education. These guys are doing it. Check them out. We'll put all their web stuff out there. Till next time.
Thank you. Thank you.
This was awesome.